So, have you ever stopped and wondered what the universe is really made of? And I don't just mean atoms and energy. I mean something much, much deeper. Today, we're diving into Esmaul Husna, the beautiful names of Allah, based on the insights of Haji Ramil Badalov. We're going to unpack how these divine attributes aren't just concepts, they're the very fabric of our reality. But what does that even mean? How can a name be a building block of the entire cosmos? Well, you're in the right place because we are about to find out.
All right, let's start with this incredible idea right here. For the universe to be a manifestation, what are we really saying? It means everything we see, everything we touch and experience, from the pattern on a leaf to the light from a star, is a living, breathing reflection of a divine quality. It's kind of like the whole universe is one giant, breathtaking piece of art, and the divine names are the colors on the artist's palette.
You see, the idea is that creation isn't some static thing that just happened once. No, it's a dynamic process that's being actively managed moment by moment. And how does that management happen? Well, sometimes it's a single attribute, like the provider, making sure every little creature gets its food. But other times, and this is where it gets really interesting, a whole team of names works together to make something happen. Think about a rainstorm in a dry land that requires mercy and power and knowledge, all working in perfect harmony.
Okay, so if the whole universe is built on this divine blueprint, with names working together, how can we actually start to see it? Is there a key to understanding this? Well, believe it or not, there's a huge clue hidden in plain sight, right inside the Quran, and it comes down to a single, simple word.
This is a question a lot of people have, and it's a fantastic one. I mean, Islam is all about the oneness of God, right? So why the plural we? It seems like a contradiction, a real theological puzzle. But the answer isn't about multiple gods, not at all. It's about multiple divine attributes acting together like a perfectly coordinated team.
So there it is. When the Quran says we, it's pulling back the curtain and giving us a peek at this divine assembly in action. It's this beautiful, efficient way of showing us the complexity behind a single divine act. And the perfect example, the revelation of the Quran itself. That wasn't just one attribute at work, it took a whole concert of them. And just look at what it took. You needed immense generosity to give humanity such a gift. You needed absolute might to protect it over the centuries. You needed divine creativity to craft its language so perfectly. And of course, you needed profound mercy as the driving reason to reveal it in the first place. All of that, all of those layers of meaning are packed into that one little word we. Pretty amazing, right?
Okay, so now that we've seen how these names work together, it kind of begs the question, right? If these names are so important, how have people tried to understand them over the centuries? Well, scholars have generally taken three very different but equally valid paths to get there.
Each of these paths uses a totally different tool from our human toolkit. Let's imagine you want to understand a huge mountain. One way is to actually climb it, right? To feel the trail under your feet and see the view from the top. Another way is to study it from a distance, using maps and tools to understand its geology. And a third way is to read a guide written by someone who knows every inch of it. So you've got knowing by heart, knowing by mind, and knowing by sacred text.
And this table just lays it out so clearly. You've got the Gnostics, the Arif, they're the climbers. They use their heart, their spiritual intuition to directly experience these attributes in the world. Then you have the philosophers, the philosoph. They're the mappers. They use logic and reason the mind to prove and understand the structure of it all. And finally, you have the textual scholars, the muhaddis. They're the ones studying the guidebook, revelation itself, to get their knowledge. Three different tools, all trying to understand the same incredible reality.
Now, looking at these different paths is really fascinating, but it all leads us to the most crucial part of this whole conversation. Because this stuff isn't just about theology or history. No, it has a direct, and I mean direct, application in our own lives. So the big question is, how do we go from just knowing about these names to actually, well, reflecting them?
And the key to this whole idea is this one word, mazhar. It's this powerful concept that a person, a human being, can become a place on earth where a divine name shines through. Now, this isn't about us becoming divine, not at all. It's about polishing our own character, our own hearts, so that we can become like a clean mirror that reflects that divine light into the world around us. We can literally become living, walking examples of these beautiful qualities.
So how do we do it? Well, it starts with a change in how we see things. Let's take generosity, for example. First, you start to see that every single thing you have comes from the one true source. Then, when someone does something kind for you, you thank them, of course. They're the vessel, but your heart really turns in gratitude to the ultimate sender who put that kindness in their heart. And then the final step
You actively look for ways to be generous yourself, knowing that you're now a channel for that divine quality.
Here's another powerful one. The Quran says Allah is an-Nasir, the helper. But it also tells us to be helpers to each other. So, when you help someone out, when you give your time or energy to someone who needs it, you're not just doing a good deed. In that moment, you are becoming a mazar, an earthly reflection of that divine name. What an incredible way to think about our actions.
And it's the same thing with al-Kafi, the sufficient. I mean, only Allah is truly sufficient for everyone and everything. But the Quran also says that believers can be sufficient for one another. When you become that reliable, dependable person for your family or friends, that rock they can lean on, you are reflecting that divine quality of sufficiency into the world. You become a safe harbor.
And that really brings us right to the end, to the most important point of all. Understanding Esmaul Husna, it's not about memorizing a list. It's an invitation, a personal one. It's a call to look at the world, to see these divine qualities everywhere, and then to turn inward and ask yourself, which one of these beautiful attributes can I bring into the world today? Will I be the helper, the merciful, the just, the patient? That choice, well, that's up to you.